What's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy, JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right. For everyone who's tuning in today, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make this show the best that it can be. And folks, I got to tell you, man, this is bittersweet. But I guess it's better than nothing. You know, football, baseball, hockey, for the most part, when they build a team, man, they pretty much see it through. Now, baseball, throughout the course of a 162 game regular season, you know, we probably see more acquisitions in baseball than any other sport because of the nature. A lot of times, pitching, fluctuates. You have a lot of injuries to pitchers or whatnot. You may see a trade for like a setup man on the pitching staff or someone to that effect, or a left-hand pitcher, something like that, or utility man on offense, whatever the case may be. Football, only reason you may see changes for a lot of times, because of the nature of the sport, injuries or whatnot, Hockey, I would imagine the same thing. But right now in basketball, trades are just being made just for the sake of making trades. And this right here, in all my years of watching NBA basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers, my squad, and I'm not trying to pick, it's not about trying to pick on them, because I love the team. I love the Los Angeles Lakers, man. And this is why I'm so mad. They were led to make the most ill-advised trade I've ever seen in pro basketball, especially when you consider the fact that a young center at the age of 21 was traded. Devalued right there at the snap of a finger. And of all teams to trade them to, you had so low regard, you trade them to your quote unquote city rival or the junior team in LA, the Los Angeles Clippers. And then to rationalize it, to add more insult to injury, no pun intended, you say, well, basically he was garbage. And he was only getting you 5 points a game. Now, I'm going to show you how low the bar's been set. He was viewed as garbage for averaging 5.5 points a game, even though his playing times reduced because they went win-now mode and started bringing in veteran players. Tyson Chandler, JaVale McGee, who was the backup, which I had no issue with JaVale McGee. He always played hard. But as far as your starting center, you already stunted this player's development going into his third year. I'm talking about Ivica Zubac, better known as Zubac, better known as Big Zoo. I'm going to tell you, man, I'm a tremendous fan of his, man, because for one, man, he's been an exemplary professional in the NBA throughout, even when he was shafted and being traded. And his first 5 years with the Clippers, he was mainly used as a screener up top to free up Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, who, in last year with James Harden. And I knew he was more than that. He had more game than that because his metric, when it came to Ivica Zubac, I always looked at his per 36 minute metric. Meaning, when he was traded to the Clippers, his per 36 minute metric was like 18 points, 19 points, and about 11 to 12 rebounds. And that always stood out to me. And what that showed me was, if you develop him and involve him into your offense as a key component, not necessarily the number one option, But the reason why the Clippers are thriving, mainly since they've been at full strength since the All-Star break, is because on average he's the number 2 scoring option on the team. And the Clippers have a positive plus minus with him on the court and a negative plus minus when he's off the court. That shows you his worth and value to the team. He's the most important player. He's not Kawhi is the number 1 guy. He's the superstar. And James Harden had a tremendous game last night. I had to give it to him. He balled out. But the key to X factor is Zubac. And when he was traded, it was so mind-numbing, man. Like I still trip over the fact that he's playing for that team. Okay. So they said he was, the former executive of the team said he was garbage to rationalize the trade because there was no rationale to trade. Averaging 5 points a game. But the player who started for the Lakers right now, averaging like 6 points a game, he's seen as a game changer. That's how low the bar's been set. And this is not a knock on Jackson Hayes because he's been placed in an unfair situation. Because number one, he's been in the league since 2019, drafted by New Orleans Pelicans. And number one, he's not a center. And number two, he's not a starter. So what do people think is going to happen when the playoffs kick in? Start. Who do you think teams are going to attack on defense? Case closed. It's going to be Jackson Hayes. Then they're going to force him to have to score. And that's where the trouble going to start. So you go from Zubac averaging 5 points a game is trash, even though his minutes were reduced. But Jackson Hayes averaging 6 points a game, he's a game changer. That's where we at right now. And Laker fans out there, whoever come across this video, that trade of Zubac, including the entire young core, the original young core, but that Zubac trade fundamentally showed how much the Lakers sold themselves short. Because in 6 years since trading them, it's been 6 years, they have not solidified the position or they have not been able to make up for the loss of trading Zubac. Because if they did, they would have had a center that would last more than one season. Dwight Howard, when they brought him back in 2019, he lasted one season. They let him go because they felt they needed to improve because he was older and they knew he couldn't play full starters minutes no more. Because the year that they won, the bubble, he only played about 18 minutes a game. And to show you how bad that trade was, and I looked this up a couple weeks ago, Zubac's averages in his first full season with the Clippers were better, slightly better than Dwight Howard's season with the Lakers in 2019. See, this stuff is real, man. And when you make a trade like that, you trade what you trade. And what you got back was nothing. Because the player who they traded Zubac for, the so-called spaced the floor, well, the Lakers still didn't make the playoffs in the first year of the hurricane. So that first year to me was totally eradicating what the Lakers already had. So this dude would have full control of the franchise and bring in the players that he wanted. That's all that first year was. That's all that first year was. Because he knew if they'd have made the playoffs in his first year, it would have been more difficult to have players traded. And I'll let everybody else figure out what I'm alluding to. So here he go, Ivica Zubac. Now, mind you, since the All-Star break, he's leading all players in double-doubles. And he's on pace if he plays the rest of the games throughout, which I imagine he will because the Clippers are trying to clinch a playoff seed without having to advance through the play-in. He's going to lead the league in total rebound. But last night, against the Dallas Mavericks, with Anthony Davis out there And with their starting center, Derek Lively, he scores 25 points. He was perfect from the field, 11 for 11 shooting, 10 rebounds, and he hit his free throws. But he's the first player in NBA history. Now check this out. In the history of the league, in over 75 years, about 70, we just say 70 some years, he's the first player in the history of the National Basketball Association to score 25 points or more, 10 rebounds or more, shooting perfect from the field without committing a single turnover. But the nays and the says and the talking heads convinced the fans of this franchise that we didn't have any talent. And this is why I was just touched and motivated to always highlight their value when they were let go. Because they're the real Lakers. And if someone can tell me what player who they brought to the team since they traded Zubac has proven to be his replacement, I'll shut this whole thing down. When I look at the resume, when I look at the turnover, let's look. Dwight Howard, they brought him back 2 different times where they signed him and then they brought him back like a season later. Andre Drummond, Marc Gasol, DeAndre Jordan, Christian Wood supposed to have been the answer going into last year. They traded for Mo Bamba 2 years ago. They've had journeyman, undersized fours trying to play the 5 spot, Raymond Gabriel. They had G League level players from another organization, Sacramento Kings, and Damian Jones. They brought him back on 2 different stints. He didn't hold up. They had Carmelo Anthony playing the 5, his 1 year on the team, and the Hurricane played the 5 when they were trying to play small ball. And I'm telling you, his system will not win in this conference because this conference now boasts multiple talented young centers in this league. And Jokic is the pinnacle of that when he led Denver to the title 2 years ago. The Clippers literally have the best center in the league since the All-Star break when it comes to both offense and defense combined. Let me repeat that. He's going to lead the league in total rebounds. He's money around when he gets in rhythm. See, the thing about a traditional a prototype center, you have to get him the ball consistently so he can adapt and discover what his sweet spots are on the court. The more you get him involved, the timing is going to be there. The chemistry is going to be there. You see what I'm saying? He don't need to shoot no threes. And them points last night, hook shots, right hook shots, jump hook, and then a left hook shot. He know how to shield his body. He know how to shield the defender, when he gets that hook shot off. Able to convert off, off the glass, using the glass to convert baskets. Then he know how to spin off the double team from his non-pivot foot, and now he can go baseline and go reverse because he's discovering his game. He's finally tapping into his game. You see, but the first 5 years, Zubac, roll up top, set screens. Then he would have to switch out on pick and roll on defense a lot of times because Kawhi, he wasn't at full strength or whatnot, or he's just an older player. And Paul George, he had to cover up for their defensive lapses. He been undervalued so bad to where I don't like to really bring up a player's salary, but realistically, that's why I say the Lakers sold themselves short. And he's making like a little over maybe $11 million a year, somewhere around there. And he's locked in for the next, like, I think he signed like was it a 4-year deal, 3 or 4 year deal. So he locked in. So what I'm saying is he entered his prime. I believe he got another 2 levels in his game. Because now he's getting more confident. He's in rhythm, man, and he know he can ball. And once again, last night, he outplayed Anthony Davis, dog. He had AD out there shooting jump shots. And I'm telling you, people, and this may sound extreme, and I get it, but I believe in what we drafted. That's the difference. We could have been successful, and I'm a tremendous fan of Anthony Davis, but the way he was brought to the Lakers was at the expense of what the team should have had long term. And now AD is gone. So the argument that it was worth it and all that, I don't really see how that could be the case, because all they got to show for it is 1 year, when they were trying to set it for the Hurricane to be able to run the table. And now the team is regressing, going to the end of headed toward the end of the season after just making another blockbuster trade to bring in another superstar. The Lakers could have won without the Hurricane, and we could have won without AD in terms of the way he was brought to the team. Because what do people say? They'll try to knock AD and say, well, he never won nothing before he played with the Hurricane. So what I'm trying to say is, all this hoopla going back and forth about who did what and all this jazz, at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers, basically the way they built this team up, it was genius. And by the time they would have finished up, all they would have needed was that final piece to the puzzle and sign the right star player. They wouldn't have had to trade anybody. They had all these draft picks in stock. The salary cap was appropriated perfectly, because the majority of the players on the team at that time were who you drafted. They were still playing on their rookie deal. So nobody was up for an extension until like a year into the new decade. And then you trade Max Christie, you trade Dalton Knecht. The only reason Dalton Knecht still Laker because the trade fell through, because the guy who they traded for, a center, he was having medical problems. Well, they wouldn't have to be doing all that if they just would have continued with Ivica Zubac. And I'm telling you, man, I sit here, man, and until the cows come home, and everything is point blank. It's like none of these players have missed the mark. And think about what Zubac would be at if he had remained with the Lakers and been truly developed. Oh my God. What he doing right now, he'd have been doing by the age of about 23 years old. 23, well, I say 24 years old. So at the end of the day, I'm going to shut this bad boy down. But once again, Zubac show who he is. He's easily a top 5 center in the league. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say since the All-Star break, he top 3. And when it comes to both sides of the ball, he playing better than any center in the league. Now, Nikola Jokic is the best center in basketball. He in his prime. And he led his team to a championship. But in terms of where the whole is great in some of his parts, Zubac was the perfect center for the Lakers to thrive in this decade. He would have been the perfect center because, like I said, he don't have to shoot threes, but he could play in a way where he can adapt defensively, and then the offense is going to be there as long as you give him the ball, and let him go to work. So I just want to drop that again, man. I'm not trying to hold on to anything, but I saw something in him when I watched his workout video. His footwork, the touch around the basket, and he just have a good. He has a good feel for the game. But this is the first year of his career where his numbers being called and he's delivering, and he rose to the occasion against Anthony Davis and Derek Lively for the Dallas Mavericks. So this wasn't no fluke what he doing. This is who he is. And the Lakers essentially traded him for a box of chocolates to placate the Hurricane. So I just wanted to drop that nugget. Please leave your comments and thoughts. Until next time, JB for BTB Behind the Bench.